All right, I got one for you. What do you call a banker that breeds ball pythons, sells coco, and has a way bigger rodent operation than you or I? Call him Chris Langel. That's who you call him. Wide River Reptiles. Chris is on the show tonight. Let's get to it. Thanks for being here. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. I hope that you are doing well. I will apologize in advance. I'm getting a little congested. I don't know if it's just my typical exhaustion and the point that I drive myself to sometimes, or if it's the weather or both. And it's going to be magnified down here. Ever since I moved the snakes out of my former reptile room here, I stopped heating it, and I come down here now. It's cold. It's December in Minnesota. Of course, the basement's cold, Adam. Anyhow, I will make it through. Have no fears. The show will go on. I promise you. We got Chris from Wide River Reptiles. If you don't know Chris, you should stick around tonight. You'll get to meet him. We'll talk. First off, that little opening segment, no joke, Chris is a banker by day. And he's got a big operation. You're going to see, you'll see a snake room in a moment. We'll talk about the scope of his rodent operation and then some of the different facets of his business model as well. So all stuff that I really enjoy. And if you watch the show regularly, I suspect you enjoy as well. As far as announcements, not a whole lot. A couple shout outs. First off, big thanks to Palm Street, bringing all the Proper Royals live content to you ad free. So thanks to them. If you are interested in trying out Palm Street, you could go down to the link down below to apply to become a seller. You got to download the app, go apply, and you can start building your business today. Every Tuesday at 11 a.m., I go live on Palm Street from the new snake facility, said facility that is heated and has the snakes in it. And, basically I'm doing chores and showing off snakes as I come across them. So as I'm cleaning and spot cleaning, if there's a snake that's for sale, I'll show it. I'll talk about it. People can look in the shop if they have questions, want to see about it, all of that. So if you want to see what Palm Street's about, download the app. Doesn't cost you anything. No upfront fees ever. No subscriptions ever. And then you could check out that show and get a feel for how I use Palm Street. The other thing Palm Street related is on YouTube, which is where you're at right now. You'll see that my newest video talks about the fees on Palm Street. And people give me pushback on that. I won't ruin the content of the video, but I compare the cost of doing business on Palm Street with Morph Market, with live local shows, with on the road away shows, and business at Tinley. And as you can imagine, my pitch is that it's fits right in line very advantageously, matter of fact, in my opinion. But you could check it out, and it's divided into 3 sections. We just go through the policies, so we go through the facts, and then we go through how it affects my business. So that's on the newest video that I put out this week. I have one last show to go this month and this year. That'll be on December 21st, the Snake Discovery Show. That's here in Hastings, Minnesota, just up the road from me. ProperRoyals.com is up to date. I'll have, I think, off the top of my head, I think there's 4 more clutches that I have not updated yet that will be on ProperRoyals.com inventory as well between now and the end of the year. They're all getting their meals or waiting to shed. I have one last clutch waiting to shed. So those will all be on there. I hope you'll check those out. Depending on temps in Memphis, I could keep the snake warm, getting it out of Minnesota, no problem. It's when it gets to Memphis overnight. If it's too cold there, sometimes that's an iffy situation. But if the temps in Memphis are good, we will have a shipping window that opens a week from yesterday, next Monday, until the 18th, the week before Christmas. And again, it's provided on temps, but logistics-wise, Redline advocates that we are able to ship in that time based on temperatures. Of course, last but not least, go check out Come on, focus. Are you going to focus? You are going to focus. Go check out Cold Blooded Cafe. They ran a huge sale. I don't know if it's still going or not. I know it went at least till last night at midnight. But they've been a huge supporter of Proper Royals. Go check them out for the best frozen rodents that you could get a hold of. Use the promo code Proper11. They're going to ship it to you for free on orders over $200. No messing around. That's it. Let's get right to the content tonight. Chris is from Wide River Reptiles down in Iowa. And I have to check. I don't remember the exact name of the town. I think he's near Davenport, but I don't think he's in Davenport. Maybe he's in Davenport. We're going to find out. I've been there. I should know. It's by a big river. I'll tell you that much. So Chris, I met Chris and his wife, Jerry. I think it was in Minneapolis. I think it was at the Minnesota Reptiles show. They were vending just around the corner from me, and we got talking. And when I first moved to Minnesota, they recognized me from the show, from the podcast here, and they were very welcoming. And as we got talking, maybe I'll get into it tonight. But the old thing I say about how people are an expert at something other than the hobby when they're ball python breeders has come in real handy. Chris and I have done really good business. He's really helped me out along the way in several ways, actually. And anyhow, we've become good friends. He's somebody I like to bounce ideas off, talk business with, pick up the phone. And I have to say, he always answers the phone for whatever reason. He puts up with me, which I'm very, very thankful for. He's been very helpful. So please welcome back to the Proper Royal stage, Chris Langel from Wide River Reptiles. Chris, how you doing?
Great. Thanks for the kind words, Adam.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for everything that you've always been real good to me. And you're in Bettendorf.
Yep. There you go. You got it. It was there.
No. Chris.
Yep.
Chris.
No, it's part of the Quad Cities. So yeah, Davenport,
okay.
Bettendorf. Yep. All the same.
That's where all the MMA wrestlers and fighters are from, right? There's a big training thing there in Bettendorf, isn't there?
Yep. Yeah. Originally, Pat Miletich and that.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
The early guys, huh?
I've been to Pat Miletich's house, believe it or not. One of his kids went to school with my son, and we were over there for one homecoming before they went to the dance.
Get out of here. Okay, that's a pretty old. I'm not into UFC nearly as much as I used to be, but Miletich, that was the old like pride fighting days too, right? Like those
it's way back when. Yep.
Yeah. Isn't Seth Rollins from there too? Less of a real fighter, but a good entertainer nonetheless. Right. Isn't he from there too?
He's around this area, somewhere. Yep.
Excellent. I don't know if I knew that. And I like to say I should. Of course I knew that. I've been there, but I don't know. Anyway, welcome to the show. I'm glad to have you, and it's my pleasure to welcome you. How's your temps? We were talking in the green room, and I am still new to this intense cold winter in the upper Midwest. What do you do? What do you run your winter temps at? Do you do anything different? Do you make changes? And you started alluding to that you needed to drop the temps. And I said, you know what? Hang on. I want to learn about this in front of everybody. That's what the show's about. So what do you got going on this time of year?
Right. Yeah. Usually around October. So we'll run the room at about 79 degrees through the summer, right? Summer months. And then, so then in October, we like to take the ambient temp down to 78. And then, so in October, we'll drop the room temp 1 degree. November, we'll drop the rack temps 1 degree. December, we'll drop the room temperature another degree. And then in January, we will drop the rack temperature another degree. So it kind of offsets, the hot side and the cool side just a little bit, not much. And our most successful years that's what happens. So then in February, we just flip the switch and go backwards. We start with the rack up 1, and then March, April, May, and back up 4 degrees. And it is interesting. I know I'm sure there's people out there but our most successful year when we ran 80% success rate, we did that. And the last year we kind of slipped on it, and we probably ran 50 to 60% success rate. So
that's where I usually land. And I'm like, how are these guys hitting all these things? So, because like from a process and system standpoint, I always think consistency is the best. Don't change anything. If I could keep it all the same and I could keep it insulated perfectly and controlled perfectly, that's where the best results are going to come. But I say me, duh. I mean, like, seasons change, temperatures change, temperatures aren't perfectly consistent. So that makes sense. Have you heard, and I was going to say heard the rumor, but I have it on very, very good sources that it's not a rumor, that it's absolutely true. I will mess up the name. I think his name is Corey in Canada. For like a week or a week and a half, he takes his down like into like the 50s. Have you heard this?
I have not. Tell me about it.
And this has been publicly spoken about on this show, so I'm not even I don't think I'm being dramatic, and that's certainly not my way to get people in hot water. So anybody in the chats, correct me if I'm speaking out of tune or anything like that. Wilmer Rose and I were chatting. He was on the show, but this most recent time we were chatting in person. I think it's Corey Woods. They're in Ontario. He just opens his facility and lets the temperatures get down to like an ambient of like 50 or so. And he's posted videos of like the temp gun on the ball python. For the record, I'm not recommending this to anybody. Go talk to Corey, let him recommend it to you, or don't come to me with all your snake's respiratory issues and infections. Okay. I am not telling you to do this, but he's a pretty well-respected breeder. And he says, you do that for 7 to 10 days. Yeah, Corey Woods. And then you pop it back up, bring them to where they were, and you're off to the races. The follicles start, and you're going to start pairing, and you're going to have all of your hatchlings at one time, and boom, you're off to the races that way. So yeah, few people know. Yeah, you guys you've heard this story. You know what I'm talking about. This isn't me just like spilling hey, this one time beans. No, this is out there.
Okay, yeah, I haven't heard that. Definitely makes me want to try even a little bit cooler for a shorter amount of time instead of doing my process I do.
Well, I will say I took a unofficial survey of some of the Minnesota breeders that I've met since I've been up here that I look up to. Some people you and I both do some business with, and I've heard anywhere from like 72 to 75-ish is kind of where they land this time of year. And of course, that's ambient room temperature, not the temperature inside the tub. So anyway, I was losing sleep fighting some of the temps, and it wasn't that I didn't have more firepower to throw at the temperatures. It's how broke do I want to go heating a place? You know what I mean? So that's always the thought there. And plus, like, what does work here, and what, I want to look up to these guys that have been at this for 15, 20, 30 years in this region. So what do you heat your space with? Can you tell us a little bit about your space? Just because I love like knowing about insulation. How's it heated?
So it's in the basement, our basement. But when I knew I was doing a snake room, the walls are fully insulated, both to the what would be the interior of the basement and the exterior walls of the basement are all insulated. So with the ARS racks that we use, and the heat, just closing the door and the amount of racks, because you can see behind me, and I've got the same amount on the other side of the room. And so it's kind of like a galley kitchen, basically. So we've got plenty of room width-wise, but it's long. And then just the heat from the racks will keep it where I want it without running any additional heat source because of the amount of racks we have in here.
Yeah.
There's no, like, all our supplies and everything are kept out of this room. This room is racks wall to wall. So that produces enough heat in here just off of the amount of heat tape that's running in here that's exposed a little bit.
Wow, that's incredible.
And so to regulate that, you're like, so how do you regulate that and drop the temperature? Well, it's literally opening the door or the vent a little bit to the outside, not outside. It's still in the basement, but outside the room.
Right.
So just controlling that, keeping the door open, a crack or whatever, and keeping fans circulating. And I'm pretty good at it now. Don't get me wrong. The first couple of years I was up and down and everywhere, but
Right.
now I've got it down pretty well.
How long have you been at ball pythons first, and then how long in that particular facility? Maybe it's the same answer.
It is the same answer. I did expand it. To answer your first question, we produced our first clutch of ball pythons in 2017.
Okay.
Prior to that, we messed around with leopard geckos. And, we had leopard geckos, had a couple bearded dragons, stuff like that. Then we had some ball pythons that we got. And I didn't go out and buy adults or anything. We had a couple ball pythons, and then we were like, okay, let's, we started going to reptile shows more with the leopard geckos.
Okay.
And then I was, intrigued by the ball pythons. And we had bought probably 2015. Oh, yeah, it would have been maybe even 2014. Bought a lesser female and a chocolate female as hatchlings. Okay. And then from there, just, how it is. Bought a few more.
So
we did raise them, though. And that's, one of the things about what's going on, in the industry right now is they don't want to put, I shouldn't say they don't want to. They're not putting in the work of buying a hatchling, learning about the animal for 2 or 3 years, and then producing their first clutch. They're coming out and they're buying, adults, and they think they're going to be millionaires next year because they're buying adults and going to produce ball pythons. And unfortunately, I'm still working my 9-to-5 job, and I've been producing ball pythons since 2017. So I can tell you, you're not going to be a millionaire overnight.
If you had it to do over, or you were talking to somebody that was just starting out, yes, on the one hand, the 2-3 years of learning about the animal comes in real handy, but maybe there's a community around them, or they'll join a community. Could they get to not being a millionaire, but getting some positive cash flow sooner? I mean, is there something really, other than the knowledge base, is there something really wrong with starting, or maybe not starting, your second base, so to speak, being breeder females so that you don't have to wait 2-3 years?
No, there's nothing wrong with it in our world in 2025. In 2017, if you would have tried to buy females, and you would have been spending a lot of money compared to what you would today. Breeder females were a lot differently priced than what they are today.
Good point. I have not been around that long, but I have been around long enough to remember normal females fetching really nice prices that I would kill for these days. That doesn't exist anymore.
Right. I mean, back when, a breeder sized pied female would sell for $1 a gram.
That's got a nice ring to it. I like that.
Yeah, doesn't it? Yeah. And I would look behind me, and I'll go grab 5 pied females right now. Right. And we'll put them up and see what, and unfortunately back then, it wouldn't have worked, right? To get return on your money.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Or to get a positive. So now could you? Yeah. I mean, it depends how you want to build your business structure. I mean, if somebody were to get in, and the other question was, you asked if somebody were to get in right now, what advice would I give them? Mm-hmm. And I would say, maybe if you want to do something that's higher dollar, find something that you like and buy a couple for that project. Other than that, what I've been talking to people at the shows, and I'm sure you have too, if you talk to them and they say, hey, what's selling? What are you guys doing? Whatever. The single gene pieds, the blue-eyed Lucies, they're still selling at the shows. And sometimes those guys that are selling those animals are doing better than the guys that are selling high dollar animals, just because of the clientele.
you and we won't say who because I don't want this to be taken in a negative light. I think very highly of them. You and I know a seller that has entry-level pieds at rock bottom prices across their table, and they produce a ton of them. And every show, I just see people just flocking to their table and moving snakes. And they're great people. I got no problem with them. That business model works for them. I think that's still the foundation of it all.
Yeah, I mean, we still have the kids out there, or parents that are letting the kids get a ball python, and they come in and and like my daughter, she has a dreamsicle male on the table. Yeah, it looks cool in that, but are mom and dad going to spend that for the first ball python for the kid?
Right.
So you do need the entry level snakes at the shows, and that's what makes the local shows successful. I'm not talking Tinley or Schaumburger or NARBCs or any. I'm talking the local shows that are run on a weekend.
Right.
Well, and we need those.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut. I think that there's a space for when we talk about byproducts or things that we don't crush the odds on. Those are great things for local shows. And then I think there's more market for the other end of things. And I think there's a variety of things like Palm Street or Instagram or anything else in the middle. I think anyhow, I think that if the person has enough time to do a variety of those shows, like you do Tinley, you do Schaumburg, you do the local shows. I assume you're selling on Morph. I know you're selling on Morph Market as well. Is that what you find, that there's kind of a space for all of those?
Oh, there is definitely, especially in what I do. Yeah. And as you know, and we'll touch on it later with the rodent business, I also have pet store customers, like for the pet store, which allows me to, like you're saying, if we miss on the odds, I can sell those ball pythons wholesale to the pet store as I'm selling them rodents. It's just an add-on sale. I'm already going there.
Right. Yeah, that's a nice out or a nice connection to have on that. Can you let's back up for a second. Let's go to a bigger picture. I already mentioned it. We don't have to get too much in. If you're like me, like keeping your separate worlds separate, but you're a banker. I would assume, and I can vouch that you have a very good business sense or insight to business. Maybe you have a different style than other people, but right. Yours is founded in rational thought, in my opinion. What would you say to people that say ball pythons and reptiles, this is a dumb industry, this is a fool's errand, this is a stupid thing? You see how money works, you see how money flows professionally. I don't know that anybody would be more qualified to comment on that. Or is your answer, yeah, it's just a hobby and I hope to make a little bit of cash on it? Is it a good business?
It is if you treat it well, and if you treat it like a business and you work at it as a second business, right? And like you said, it takes a person with the right mindset to run a business, and you got to run it as a business if you want to make it a business, right? Again, this is Jerry, like you mentioned my wife earlier. She just not one person to be on camera a lot, so that's why I do these. But this is her full-time job, is the ball pythons. And I know there's other people out there that are like, I'd love to do it. And how do you do it? But as you stated, I have another source of revenue, so that allows that to happen too, Mm-hmm. So it is ball pythons and reptiles, you can definitely do okay. If you're smart with your money, invest wise, yes, it can pay dividends. But if you take a shotgun approach and buy everything and don't take in the consideration of cost of rodents and stuff like that, you're going to have a bad taste in your mouth pretty quick. And we've seen it. I've seen it. Yeah. I've seen people come in and do the right thing, and pay attention to what they're buying and have a plan. And just like any business, you got a business plan. That's why they call it a business plan, right? You need a plan, and you can make it work if you got a plan.
I think that brings to circle all the way back to what you were saying about raising snakes for 2 or 3 years. To fully understand the cost you got to do it for longer than just a little while and just buying a female to understand the logistics of scale and what it takes to sell a snake. I do think that there's a time component. You could get there sooner, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be a good salesman. It doesn't mean that you're going to know how to not go broke on rodents, whether that be buying them frozen or that be raising them yourself. But then you got to invest that money into that equipment and that infrastructure and that knowledge and that time. I'm kind of back with you on that. That 2-year kind of thing is really where you're going to kind of get serious.
Yeah. And again, I've heard stories where people go in and buy collections after collections, and then they've got 50, 60 ball pythons, and then they're like, oh, I didn't realize, and then with the rodent business, they come and they're like, hey, I got to feed these snakes, and here's the cost. And they're like, oh, it's going to cost me that every week or 2 weeks. And
right.
Yeah. I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, I got to pay for my stuff too,
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot to it, ins and outs, which is why I've been doing this show for, 4 years now. So I can try and learn all of these ins and outs. So with that. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like you mentioned in the cost of Palm Street earlier, for the person or whatever, the fees, whatever, there's a cost of whether you have a brick and mortar, you do the shows on the weekend, you do morph market, whatever you do, there's an expense to sell that snake or whatever you're selling. There's a marketing cost.
Absolutely. And there's a few platforms you could sort of get away with it for free, like Instagram, but then you're talking in code and you're under the table and you're risking getting,
Right.
I'm not saying not to do it. I do it, but there's a lot of risk that goes with that. And that's a cost in and of itself. Let me tell you, because when they do take your account, it's a week's worth of work to get it back. I can also attest to that. But yeah, in that video, I try and take it through that. And I don't even talk about the cost of time or liability, or what if the person next to you has, mites all over their table and they hitch a ride, I didn't even talk about any of that stuff, but there is a cost to it. With all that being said, can you talk a little bit about your sort of philosophical business model here? Leave the day job aside. So you have snakes, rodents, and when we say rodents, we have a lot. I can't wait to people don't understand what a lot of rodents are until they understand what the rodents you've got. And then you're a coco distributor as well, but also you always have dry goods at the table. Can you talk a little bit about how all those interact and play together for you?
Yeah, you bet. So, let's say you go to a show and I don't mind, Schaumburg. We went up to Schaumburg last year, and the ball python people that were there and mentioned that it was a little rough show, and it was. So we did not sell a ball python at the show. Now, I did sell a ball python because of the show afterwards. So I want to make sure that's known, right? And it's always, again, that's a whole nother story.
No, it's always a great topic. The residual sales, the show doesn't just start and end at this finite place. You never know when you're going to do that business.
Right. So the Schaumburg selling the hides and the other stuff and the coco, it helped pay for the weekend. Had I not had that, I would have been out my table rentals, my hotel, everything associated with attending an NARBC, right?
Yeah.
I would have been stone cold out.
And if people don't know, we don't have to break it down like dollar by dollar, but Schaumburg's what, $1,000 to vend is probably what you're in for?
Oh yeah. I mean, if you have one table, and I have more than one table because of the other stuff I have.
Oh, right? That's right. Yeah, I'm talking about. Oh, I'll speak for myself. Tinley, I calculate right at $1,600 just for me to vend and turn on the lights at Tinley is $1,600 for me.
Yeah, and Tinley, for us, we always said $2,500 to $3,000. If I make that, it's paid for the weekend, paid for my food. It was a paid vacation, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Because we take Tinley's big for us, so that's different than Schaumburg. Tinley is like we sell a lot of coco there and have the whole end cap there, and sponsor ReptiChip sponsors NARBC, so it's a big deal. There's a lot of expense we have there. And we have a great time though. So anyway, so we, diversify our stuff, because if I'm just selling a ball python, yeah, it could be. And, we have other people in the industry too that diversify by having more than one species of animal on their table.
Sure.
Or they got the cork bark or whatever. So as we were growing, we did that. And the reason I got into the coco, I'm flat honest, is we talked about expenses, right? And
Yeah.
me being a businessman, and I was buying, started buying the Repti chip, and I'm like, well, how can I offset my expense of this?
Right.
Well, talk to JT and say, hey man, I want to sell your product. And I, look into that. And he was new. I mean, I signed up in December of 2016.
Oh,
and he
wow.
started
Okay.
in 2016. So I was in, at the ground level, and great partnership with JT I have to this day. And that's, got in there, and I'm like, okay, I got to offset this expense. How do I do it? And that's what you look at. And that got me there. Now, as I'm getting older and lugging around all this Repti chip to shows, thousands of pounds in and out and everything, it's like, okay, but hey, it's there, right?
It's easier to store logos on a banner than it is pallets of Repti chip.
Yeah, or to lug it around, right?
Oh, right. But no, it was. But I'll joke it aside. That was when I kind of hit that wall of going, man, shipping is expensive. These rodents are expensive. All right, who are the two companies that I love the most, and how do I get to work with them and figure out how to start offsetting some of these expenses? And that's where I started working with Cold Blooded Cafe and Redline Shipping. Now, shed testing was a little different story. I actually I wanted to work with Charlie just to work with Charlie, but that's what started. I was like, I never wanted a sponsor just for a check. I wanted a sponsor because the stuff was expensive, and I needed to keep the business going.
Right. Yep. So that's how we diversify and try and make things go around,
Now, last time you were on, you had mentioned that you've done 100 clutch plus seasons in the past. Where are you at these days? Are you finding sanity at the new number? Have you achieved anything by changing the number? Are you still doing more than 100 clutches? What are you doing these days on production?
Oh no, we're down. I mean, I say we're down, and that's because I ran 50, 60% last year. We probably did pretty close to 100 pairings, and definitely had around 50 clutches this year. Excuse me. You touched in the promo there about the Ultramel project. Ultramels, kind of close and dear to my heart, and so we're working on all that stuff. We were hoping this year to make an Ultramel paint, and it was double het to double het breeding. And we produced the double hets, so I know they're double hets. So this goes back to taking a project and doing it for yourself, right?
Right.
So I've got a couple paints and a couple Ultramels, bred them together, got that, made the double hets for myself. Sold two back in I don't know whatever. I sold two females and the males, and I kept one male, a couple males, and like 5 or 6 females. From different clutches, and bred it back around. And this year was, so 2 of the 5 girls went. And so we had 14 chances.
14 eggs, not 14 clutches, right?
Nope. Yep. Okay. So we had 14 eggs. So 14 chances at an Ultramel paint. Hit 1 Ultramel 3 paints, and the other 10 are possible double hets.
66 is all across the board, huh?
So hey, stuff happens.
This is where we dropped the Charlie promo for all the shed testing.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you want it hooked up with a 1.3 of possible double hets, and you want to send it to Charlie after you buy it from me, let me know. But it's so there's the good and the bad with the industry, right? So if somebody, and go back to that, so if somebody had invested a ton of money in the hopes of making an Ultramel paint and you strike out, you're talking. I've talked to the guys that, and I don't want to mention any names, but I talked to the guys that are sometimes make these first double recessives, right? And I know there's an Ultramel paint out there. I've heard about it. But it would be like the first year that it's been done or close to. So I don't want to say that. I don't want somebody to say you're wrong. But anyway, I was talking to them and they said, if you produce one and you put it on market, you better be asking, 5-figure, 10 grand.
Yeah.
And because some of the other guys are like, we want to keep that price up there. And that's what we want you to ask for. And, I still to this day, we all chat, you chat and I chat. And I chat to other people too, like, hey, this is what I might have a chance at. What should we look at for a price point? So yeah, I struck out there. And if I was banking on that, 10 grand and I didn't get it, well, then you better not be banking on it. Not in this industry.
No. And one thing that took me a long time to realize, and I even still have trouble reconciling it, is like just the row that you're sitting in is probably 16 to 20 grand worth of equipment that we can see in the picture. So the 10 grand, and I'm just picking numbers out of the sky, but like 10 grand is a massive number for anything on one sale.
Yeah.
But what it costs you to actually be able to get to make that 10 grand and the investment most of us put in to produce, which I haven't yet produced an animal of that caliber, is a massive amount. And so that 10 grand is a drop in the bucket. And you've got to have the volume and the other things and the massive volume of what, $300 to $500 to $800 animals to keep everything afloat.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I mean, I guess you don't have to. I do. That's how I keep myself afloat. I assume that's how other people do too, but maybe not. I don't know.
It's definitely it happens, right? You strike out and whatever. But,
and I'll tell people you're at this further than I am. The other sad thing is, even when you hit that animal, you're probably keeping it. You're not cashing it in. You got to keep it to make more, right? You don't even get the 10 grand.
Yeah. So those guys that I talked to, and they're like, well, if you get one, you're going to let me know before you let anybody else know. And I said, well, yeah, and I said, but the only way I'm selling anything is if I get larger than a 1.1, because I'd love to have a male and a female of it.
You want both, right? You got to hit the third one before you can make any money.
I'd have to hit 3, and I didn't hit any. So guess what? None are for sale because I didn't hit any. So
I had a really fun clutch, and I won't bore everybody with all the genes because it's a fun like building block piece for me and a super gravel Ultramel project. And I was like, yes. And I was like, I want to keep 3. I have 1 to sell. And like, as exciting as it is of a building project for me, it's an $800 snake, which is wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I really wanted to get more than that for the clutch. And that's all that I'm letting go because I'm keeping the rest of it.
Yeah. It's amazing how that happens, right?
It is. So I guess enough with the sob story. So you talk about Ultramel paint. What are some other things you got going in Ultramel that excite you? I will admit, I'm a believer. I have been accumulating and holding back Ultramels almost to the extent that I have my super gravel stuff. This dawned on me and just hit me the other day. I was like, I'm pretty much those are going to be my 2 lanes. And of course, those are going to intersect as well at some point. But so I'm pretty excited with the Ultramel stuff. But what gets you going in Ultramel, or what gets you excited when you think about the future of Ultramel?
I've got the Desert Ghost. So hopefully this breeding season we'll get some Ultramel DGs. I think the Ultramel Clowns we of course struck out on along with Ultramel paints this year. So again, next year. So I'm hoping for Ultramel GG, Ultramel paints, and Ultramel Clowns again. The Pieds are growing up, and maybe I'd have to see. Maybe they're ready. It's sad that I don't know that. But we should be getting really close to that. I put a genetic stripe, a hypogenetic stripe male to a Lemon Blast Ultramel, and she slugged out on me. So I was trying to make some triple heads there, so that kind of struck out. But we did get, we do have some double head now, Ultramel G-stripe stuff. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm all in on Ultramel. I mean,
that's cool. But it sounds like you're actually still pretty not super early because you've created all of your own hets, but you're still making the hets and still going for these doubles.
Oh yeah. So uh, one of the big things that I like doing that, and I'm going to continue to do that because that's what makes it fun for me.
Yeah.
Is working on a project. I did the DG Pied to switch just a little bit. The DG Pied, I did buy a DG het pied male and a pied het DG female couple years ago. That'll be going this year. So hoping to make some DG pieds. But most of the time I do start down at the base because I got a lot of my base animals left. And I do make my double hets and go from there. I enjoy it though. And I have the ability to do it too, because so I don't want everybody to think, oh, because Chris does it, it's the only way to do it. No, you buy in wherever you want,
Yeah.
And I produce the rodents, so it's I can do the way I like to do it and grow the animal up. And as I'm getting older, maybe those time frames will change a little bit because
you got to move
Chris,
the needle a little faster.
You got 8 years to make something. No, I don't have 8 years to make something, so I gotta cut back a little bit. You know what I mean? But the Ultramel, no, I'm excited. We've produced a banana Mojave pin female Ultramel. We've this year we did I put special into Ultramel.
Interesting. Yeah.
I was.
Did you get any visual special Ultramels?
Yeah. Yeah.
How did that come out? It has to be pretty bright, huh?
It is. I'll try and get you a picture of that.
Great. Yeah.
Sent to you. Then I was talking, with somebody else that's in Ultramel at NARBC St. Louis and said, hey, and he's like, hey, have you, put a red stripe or the red stripe specials? And I knew I'd forget the other gene that he had told me. But anyway, so I've got some ideas from going to, the NARBC St. Louis, which, that's what we do as breeders too, at those shows is talk about, hey, what do you got going on? Especially if you know somebody working in the same project or, hey, what'd you make that looks really cool or stuff like that.
Yeah, you find the inspiration and all right, now I'll get nerdy. I will say all the genes. So the ones that I hit, and Danny was seeing them today when I was showing them off on the Palm Street Live, but so they're blackhead, gravel, Enchi pastel, and they're all head Ultramel and and they're all head Ultramel. So these oranges and flames that are just coming out of these things are really great. And then the blackhead is putting so much contrast with the gravel as well. And I'm excited, but like you say, like it's exciting, but I got to sit here and I got to wait now. So like the males, I'm like, all right,
hurry up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and like I think they've had 4 meals. Like there's nothing to hurry. It's gonna be next fall at best, So, but I'm really happy with those. And speaking of Ultramel, I have to give a little shout out to Portuguese Pythons, Danny and Renee Rocha. They supported the show for a very long time, and I got a lot of very cool Ultramel ingredients from them along the way, but one of them was a super blackhead Ultramel. So he's been a powerful male as I start building the Ultramel stuff. What did you see it? One of my customers asked what I think of banana and Ultramel, and I said, you know what? I think I've seen it, but I don't.
If
it doesn't, yeah, I was just say, like, if I don't latch onto something, I don't even like try and hold on to it in my head. What do you see it as a benefit, or is it just kind of a tweak on a typical banana?
It's a tweak on a typical banana. If you take out the pin, though, the banana Mojave, and I think Chris Blocker is one of the people watching. He picked up that mail from me. We made a Mojave banana Ultramel, and without the pin in it, that was when it was a hatchling, man. That thing was orange, like you can't believe. If you can imagine Mojave and banana and Ultramel, it was interesting.
I've loved the dark genes in Ultramel because of the purples and the contrast,
right?
But then I started to see bell combo gene or bell complex genes in Ultramels, which generally we like to think, I don't know, I don't want to put a lesser or a Mojave in something, and you got to worry about making a white snake. Those things glow just electric. I mean, they look like they're DG or something in them with those bell complex genes. I bet that animal did glow.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, and he just commented it. It
Yeah.
was definitely, and I know it produced some items for him this year. He used him last year, and uh, made some nice looking Ultramel stuff too. So,
is there anything that you have been like, no, I'm staying completely away in Ultramel? Like anything that you don't want to see, or that you're like, that doesn't do very well? Like even pastel in Ultramel is good.
Oh, pastel's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's funny because
I love
it almost like darkens the Ultramel. It darkens the contrast versus lightening it.
Yeah, it's totally opposite of what you think the animal would look like.
Right,
totally.
Right. Yeah.
If you picture it in your brain. Yeah. No, I haven't hit anything that I'm like, no, don't do that. The pinstripe I like. I mean, our Ultramel line has pin all over, everywhere.
I think people forget. Yes, Phil is right. Pastel hate is ridiculous. I think that people forget on pinstripe, because it's such a powerful pattern changer. They forget the golden colors that it brings and the gold effect that it brings. And in Ultramel, I have an Ultramel clown pin that I produced that is the orangest snake, and it's a year old, and it's still just this golden orange color.
So yeah, I haven't hit anything in Ultramel that I want to stay away from yet. We'll see. It's just getting started, Well, not getting started. I'm way deep in it. But I'm an Ultramel fan. So,
what about other are there things that you feel like you have to worry about, whether it be with albinos or axanthics or interesting things like that in Ultramel that I don't know enough of biology or genetics to know what those issues might be, but it always seems like if you mix, I don't know, I feel like mixing albinos would be begging for trouble. Is that something that we've seen, or am I making that up in my mind?
No, I think somebody made an albino Ultramel. I'm not one that's going to probably do the albino or axanthic in it. Go for it. You know what I mean? But
I'm not the guy that's going to chase the albino, but I'm a little curious about what axanthic would look like. I have axanthic bananas that are actually pretty cool. I like those as a project, and I'm like, maybe, like, I don't know if I want to invest 5 years in it, but if I could, knock a few out fairly quick, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know if I would do anything like that. I mean, everybody's seen the Ultramel puzzle by now, I think. I'm way behind on the puzzle. I made my first puzzle visual this year, but, kudos to the guys that are doing it. And I don't know if I want that other recessive in there, where Jerry and I were just talking about it the other day. We're getting so many going because she loves to go. She wants to go do some lightning pied stuff. Speaking of Xanic, and so we're like, man, do we need another recessive gene in the house? I don't know if I do.
Yeah, you start running out of space, and then you hinted at it, like literal time in life, like all these double and triple projects. I mean, these are 10, 15 year chunks of time that we're maybe not committing to because we're not thinking it through. But if we did think it through, we would have to commit that amount of time to it,
For sure. Yeah. So,
well, very cool. I look for, I wish you would hit the paint. That would have been really cool to see. I'm intrigued by paint. I haven't bought into it yet. And I kind of am let things sort of play out a little bit before I go investing in stuff. But paint's pretty cool, and it's a little different than my usual thing because it's sort of a shatter scatter kind of a pattern or effect on animals. I tend to like a cleaner line, but that it's pretty cool. I got to say, I really like it. I've seen some of what Steve Casino at Steve's Morphs has done. I've been really inspired in person by paint.
I think I know I picked all my original DG stuff up from Steve.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yep.
We joke here in Minnesota that all the money just flows back to Joe. Steve's like that in Florida. You just give it to Steve. It's going to end up there anyhow. Like, don't worry about the
right.
Don't worry about the middlemen.
Right.
Great. Last question on some of these doubles and long-term projects, and I like hearing people's perspective on it. Get the non-recessive, whether you want to call them codoms, dominants, whatever all the words are, the non-recessives. Do you get those in early with the hets, or do you try and make the double recessive and then make double hets from that with the combos?
No, I'm to the point that I use a multi-gene to make the hets
To start with, yeah.
Yeah, the Ultramel paint, unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to do that because I just, I probably should have put the pinstripe in it, but I didn't want to put the pin in with the paint. Mm-hmm. So at the time, when I did those first ones, he was just an Ultramel male or an Ultramel pin was my options. And I just didn't want to put the pinstripe in the paint. Now, what will it do? Has there one out there? I don't know if there isn't one out there, but I didn't want to, right? I didn't want to. I wanted to get that out of there. So that does not. But, man, we've got like I said, we got the female Banana Mojave Pinstripe Ultramel. We've got the Lemon Blast. We've got Pinstripe Galore females. So I've got female Ultramels that have multi-genes in them, and I've got males of other things that have multi-genes in them. So some of my other stuff, I mean, we made blackhead, cinnamon, oh my Lord. I don't know, blackhead, cinnamon, pinstripe, pastel, maybe one other gene in there. We made those this year that are going to be some powerhouse down the road. They're hets, but they're going to be powerhouses.
Yeah.
Like I said, I made a couple males that I'm like, all right, hurry up.
Exactly. You want another one? I grow a whole bunch of rats here. They have another one. Yeah, eat it up.
So, yeah, I've got 4 or 5 gene stuff sitting around here now. I'm excited for in the next 2 to 4 years.
Right. And to me, the best part of doing this, it's fun to think of it as to treat it as a business and to do it as a business, but really it's fun to just look in the tubs and go, oh, next year, man. Like, and every year I like this time of year when I'm doing my pairings and I'm getting the ball rolling on a new season, I'm like, I'm just as excited as I was last year because my stuff's even better than it was last year. That's where it's the fun is really at,
Yeah. Like you asked me how many clutches we doing or how many pairings. Every year we say, all right, we're going to do less. And then we don't. Right. and it's like, oops.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Had to go for it again. Yeah. Well, I just mentioned rodents. We're going to take a break here for just a second, pay some bills. But when we come back, I want to talk to you about first your rodent operation. Audience, if you don't know, I'm not going to say a number, but it is in the several to many thousands of square feet of rodents. If you heard Chris mention earlier, he does have a full-time day job career. And he is producing a massive amount of rodents. So I want to talk about the business side of that and then some of the systems and processes that go with that. So we'll get to that in just 1 second. Hey, look, the temps are changing. There's a lot of questions. There's going to be backups through shipping seasons of varying degrees of Black Friday, holidays, all of that. Get the people with the relationship with FedEx on your side. I heard posts in the past week of animals are stuck, they're not moving, all of this. I literally had Redline associates calling me, reassuring me that my animals had been accounted for. They were moved to, they had been identified, picked off the sorting floor, moved to temperature controlled offices because Redline staff was providing service and interacting with FedEx rather than yelling at customers, i.e. the people who shipped. So that is exactly the very, very reason that I ship with Redline right there is for the service. So go check it out. Redlineshipping.com. Get yourself $5 off your next shipping label. Use the promo code proper5. Shedtesting.com. That's Charlie Williams. He recently has become part of phenome.com. So if you see phenome.com or shedtesting.com, that is the same, still great company, great service, speaking of, and it's still Charlie Williams running the shed testing operation. By partnering with the folks at Phenome, excuse me, I'm all stuffed up. Winter has hit here in Minnesota. I'm working through these promos here. We got to get this taken care of, right? But I'm also passionate about it here. So stick with me. I apologize for the congestion here. Charlie has increased the lab volume and activity that he uses for the processing. The systems are better. There's less human interaction, so less chance for variables and errors. And it's faster, and he dropped all the prices. Better, faster, cheaper. That's all right there. And you can still get a discount. Use the promo code PROPER10. Get yourself 10% off of 2 orders of shed tests, and you can order as many tests per order as you like. I don't know if that makes sense or not. You can order 15 tests in one time and get 10% off, and then you can do it again a second time, and you can make those as many numbers as you want, but only 2 orders. So go check out shedtesting.com. And it might redirect you to Phenome, but that's exactly the same place. Excuse me again. Sorry for the congestion. Sarah and Josh are Sundog Serpents. They are down in Orlando, Florida. They are working TSK Axanthic, one of the few people, particularly in the Southeast, working TSK clowns. They also have TSK and zebra ingredients that they are now producing as well. They've just produced some puzzle clutches, which are for sale and available. And they also have super asphalt ingredients in their mix as well. So go check out Sarah and Josh. I have vended with them. I have purchased from them. They have purchased from me. And now we have breeding projects that we are working on together. Speaking of double recessives, working on the Clown Monsoon project together this year. So I have one of their females over at the shop as we speak. So I definitely trust them, and they're great people to work with. Go check out Sarah and Josh. That is Sundog Serpents. Reagan Renee, Royal Pythons, Charlie Ryan. There's something in the name Charlie's in this industry. Charlie Ryan is out there figuring out how to program in new languages, which ironically are called Python, is called Python as well. Go check out ReaganRenee.com. It has his full inventory. It has various calculator tools that he uses in his everyday analytics that he applies to his ball python breeding. So he takes his professional at-scale production job and applies that knowledge and principles to his breeding decisions with his ball pythons. And he's made all that free on ReaganRenee.com for you. Also, anything you buy on ReaganRenee.com has free shipping. And if you use the promo code PROPER10, he'll give you 10% off at checkout just for watching Proper Royals and going to his site and purchasing an animal. So let me give you the lowdown. He's definitely specializing in Kryptons, G-Stripe Clowns, and G-Stripe Clown DG projects. So check out Reagan Renee, Royal Pythons. Keeper Kane, that is Kane Fritz Wallace. He's in Tennessee, and Keeper Kane is his YouTube channel that he would love for you to check out. He documents his aquatics, spiders, tarantulas, I guess you call them arachnids if you're a real enthusiast. He's got big snakes and he's got ball pythons, and it's all documented there, kind of the adventures of he and his wife with all these animals at the house. It's always family friendly, and definitely a positive force in the industry. You could also check out his ball pythons on Morph Market for sale. Last but not least is Chris at B&S Reptilia, the original advertising partner of Proper Royals. Here he is all these years later. I'm so thankful for Chris. We vend Tinley together. He is my vending partner at Tinley. and we do own some animals together as well. Chris is called BNS Reptilia because not only does he specialize in ball pythons, but blood pythons, locality boas, colubrids of all shapes and sizes, Pituophis, the bull snakes, and the pine snakes. If you're interested in those, he has the documentation and the education to let you know if they're legal to have in your area and what you will need to have them in your area if you're interested in that. And he is the regional distributor of the chipper coco as well. You could get in touch with him both for coco in the Pennsylvania area, or if you're interested in becoming a distributor yourself in your own region. How about that? Through all the congestion, we get there. And I am happy to do that, not only because we're in a business agreement with each other, but these are companies and brands that are supporting our industry. I don't know if you noticed, there hasn't been a commercial break. If you're watching on replay and if you're watching live, you didn't have to watch a commercial to get in here. I could bring you this content without being hindered by all that extra crap. These folks support us. I hope in this season of buying and giving and looking out for each other, you might check these brands out. All of their contact information is down below in the description. Hanging out with Chris Langel tonight from Wide River Reptiles, and we're going to get into his great big rodent production. Excuse me for 1 second. I hope the microphone didn't pick up that horrible sound. I'm sorry. I was just had to clear the old pipes there for a minute. Chris, tell us about this rodent operation that you got.
Yeah. So it is roughly 5,000 square feet of building. And we produce ASFs and mice and, of course, the rat, the regular Norway rat that you're feeding, ball pythons, we continuously watch the chatter that we're seeing around with the ASF production. And I hope some of the states that don't allow ASFs currently will in the future.
Yeah.
That would change my business plan, so to say, for that. So I keep my eyes and ears close to the ground, as they say, to hear the chatter on that. Currently, we run about 650 breeder ASF females. And then we, I don't know, for regular Norways, in excess of 1,000 breeder females. Probably more. I'd have to count it up. But if we ever had to change, you've been to the building. We got a couple different sections. If I had to ever reduce the Norways in one section and move the ASFs to that, I could do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, there'd be an expense, as there is in everything, right?
Yeah.
To transfer over. When I did the expansion area, which is roughly half of the square footage we have, I looked into commercial racking for that, and it was going to run $300,000 in commercial racking, and that's why I still did my own build your own, do it yourself kind of stuff. Now I do have commercial racking for the ASFs and mice because sometimes that's hard to build something for them. But so if I ever had to expand more into the ASFs, that would be an expense. But I mean, if we get there, we get there.
How did you, I mean, to Phil's point, Phil says, so you went big, huh?
Yeah.
How do you end up in a 5,000 square foot facility? Were you out of the gate that big, or how did the what was the trajectory of your rodent sort of story or timeline here?
Yeah. What happened was one year we spent $9,000 in frozen rodents, and I'm like, okay, I got to figure this out. So started in a 1-car garage, and I was going to do my own collection for my own collection period. And then somebody's like, hey, can I buy a rat from you? Can I buy a rat from you? And pretty soon I'm like, okay, we've outgrown the 1-car garage, so started looking around for a commercial building, found a building that's it's not the greatest shape, but it does what I need it to do. And, so the rental was, I could afford the rent for it. Right.
Yeah.
So I started there. We expanded and then had a person in the person I was buying live from. He was producing rodents at his home, and thanks, Chris. That's another Chris there.
Yeah.
He was he's like, hey, if you get the building, do you want to kind of do some kind of partnership? And so we did a partnership, and then they decided to exit the industry altogether.
Enough cleaning rats.
Yeah, rats and snakes. So they exited the industry. And so I bought the other half out because I figured I didn't want a different business partner, right? I did a business partner with that guy because I knew him for a while, right?
You're right.
And I didn't want him to sell somebody else, so I bought him. And then we continued, basically word of mouth is what brought the business. That just kept growing and going. And then we were to the point where we're like, well, we got to do something. And the landlord just at the time we were talking about, hey, maybe we might have to start looking for a different building. Landlord said, hey, the guy in the back half of the building's moving out. Do you want to take over the whole building?
Wow.
And I'm like, perfect timing. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And we expanded from there. And I believe that was two years ago. Maybe 3 now. I'd have to look if it was 23 or 20. I think it was. Anyway,
I think when I was there, you were just in the process of it. And I can't remember if you were in the new space and you were saying that you had just moved in there or you were about to move into the new space.
Yeah, so I know we leased it. We got the keys turned over to us because he told me it was going to be December 1st of whichever year it was. And then we actually got the keys. I didn't have to get the keys because I was already in the building. But the other guy, I got notified on Black Friday that, hey, he's out. It's all yours. Start doing whatever you need to do to get it so you can use it. You know what I mean? So I started working on the remod there. And, we ran new electrical and put it where we needed it and built out a wall and closed off a garage and stuff like that. So expenses there.
You could choose to answer this if you like, or however you want to answer it. How much food do you go through in a week?
Roughly 2 pallets.
Okay.
So that'd be, another 2,000. So there's 1 ton per pallet. So 2 tons.
2 tons a week of food. Like, just when I think I'm getting somewhere, somebody says something like that, and I'm like, I don't think I use 2 tons in a year, man.
It's crazy. We get 2 pallets a week roughly. That includes the 18%. So we feed Kalmbach, 18% to the Norways, and then the mice and the ASFs use 23%. So between the 2 different foods, probably 2 pallets a week.
And then, I don't think I've given any secrets away. You use a grain and corn mix as well. Is that, you still using that?
Yeah. So I make a little scratch for the ASFs and the mice. I don't feed it to the Norways. But I get where I get my rodent diet ordered through. They've got a scratch mix of their own, and then I add a little extra sunflower and a little extra corn to it, and we stir it up in a bin and feed it to the ASFs and the mice just for something for them to play with, because as most people know, rodents, if you got an ASF or a mouse, they want something to do, something to entertain them. So we scratch the ASF grow outs every morning. The breeders get it twice a week that are in a 1-to-3 ratio in the tubs, the Freedom Breeder breeding rack. They get Monday and Thursday, they get theirs. And then, that's about when we scratch them a little bit.
And the grow outs, you give them every day on the grow outs.
Every morning. We just got one of the little plastic scoops, that you pick up. It's a scoop, and it's just one little plastic scoop, for 30 of them. It's not a whole lot.
Yeah.
When there's 30 or 40 in a tub.
Yeah, well, exactly. It goes pretty quick. What tubs do you use on your grow outs?
Those we do use the concrete tubs still, the small concrete tubs, and
Okay.
we shim them. We do buy wood shims because we built the runners are 2x2, and then we pick up wood shims and we just slide it on all four corners of the tub to hold it up tight. Because if ASF can get their teeth on anything, they're gonna give you a hole.
Yeah, they go to town on it for
Yeah.
sure. I have to say I'm still fingers crossed and knock on wood. I'm still having really good luck with the lab bins.
Yeah.
I use clips in the corners so they can't raise the tops on them. But other than that, it's funny. Every time I post a picture of the setup with the lab bins, it never fails. Somebody says, "Oh, they're going to chew right out of those," and it's been 2 years that I'm using those now.
Yeah, we put our we wean them for a week. We put our weaned in there for a week, and then we sex them after a week in those. And yeah, we have no problems with them.
Yeah,
No problems with them.
I like them on that. Maybe not the actual numbers, but percentages. What do you find the margins on your rodents to be? And I ask that because for me, like when I'm explaining, like Thanksgiving is a perfect time. Oh, you have snakes. That's interesting. Why do you do that? Oh, you breed rats too. That's even more disturbing. Why do you do that?
Right.
And I get to talking about the business model, the margins. One floats the other. There's hits and misses in one, and there's steady in the other. Can you talk a little bit about your own experience with that?
Yeah. The margins on the rats is not, I mean, does it pay to feed my snakes? Yes. So that's the why I do it. So it's hard for me because I feed a lot of snakes, and that takes a lot of rodents out that I sell. So the I'm not, making a whole lot there. And the margin though on a rodent, I haven't, because depending on order size, there's a lot of people on here that get rodents from me, and they know that the more they buy from me, the bigger discount they get.
Sure, fair enough. And I wouldn't ask you to disclose specific prices or deals or anything like that to anybody.
So as your volume goes up, I give a discount. So to say, hey, what's your margin on this? It's kind of hard because not a whole lot of people pay full retail at my store. They don't, because I've built the business model for the rodent business to go around, snake breeders, and and pet stores. I don't want to sell one rat at a time. I've got other things to do.
I'm finding it gets very expensive. I don't know if you heard my phone ding. That was somebody saying, where can we meet? How do we meet? I need them this week, please.
Yep. You'll get a lot.
I've told you where you can meet me. I've told you when you can meet me. It's at my shop when I'm there, and this is the price. I'm not driving around town for a 3 rodent delivery kind of deal. I have a place for you now to come to.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what set it for me. We meet people at the building on Monday and Thursday nights when we're down there cleaning. My daughter helps the customers that come in, and we're there, and they can come down from 5 to 7:30 at night and pick it up. And then we do delivery routes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, depending on what area. We do Illinois on Tuesday nights, and then we do the Iowa, Wisconsin thing on Thursday.
Man, the greater tri-state area of rodent delivery. My goodness, man.
Yep. So we do charge a delivery fee to cover the expense of the van and my person to do it and the gas, right? And I'm not trying to make a ton of money on the delivery fee. Just trying to pay for the van expense because, if I wasn't delivering it, I wouldn't have those expenses.
Right.
So I just do the little delivery fee to offset that. So the point where I was going, where that person just messaged you one night, I was sitting on my couch at 9 o'clock when we were young and, new to the world, sitting on my couch, and the guy's like, hey, can you meet me down at the rat building? I need to get some rats. And I only live 7 minutes from my rodent facility. So I'm like, yeah, I'll run down, right?
Sure. Yeah.
No idea. I should have asked. Shame on me. Should have asked, hey, what do you need or what do you want? Get down there. The guy wants one mouse and he pays me $1.50 in quarters. That night is the night I decided we got to do something better, because I'm not getting off my couch to drive down to a building, turn all the lights on, get a mouse, drive back home. An hour of my time plus my gas probably cost me more than $1.50.
Right.
To start my truck, drive down there and drive home. I know, a gallon of gas, $3. That's half a gallon of gas. I don't know what it takes to start my truck, drive down there and drive back, but probably a half a gallon. And he gave me 6 quarters, and I'm like, oh, man.
We shouldn't have to make change for him, right?
Right.
No, I have definitely found, and I see this with other people starting up in rodents, and I say it like I'm an old hand. I'm not whatsoever, but I've found that you got to put boundaries, and it's not because you don't want to do stuff for people. It's that it stops making sense. And if you did do that all the time, you'd go broke. You wouldn't have any sleep. You would be probably unpleasant to be around and to do business with. So it's not that I don't want to take care of people. It's here's how I'm best equipped to take care of you. If that doesn't work, I might not be your guy. You can go to the pet store across town and pay more, I guess, for that convenience.
Yeah, and the customer, and I do have one person, that he works the times we're open, right, on Monday and Thursday night. But we have an agreement that he'll message me, I got to go down and check the building on the weekends, right? I got to at least walk the building, right, twice a day, morning and night. And he works third shift, so he'll text me Saturday morning, and he's like, hey, I should be off work at this time. I can be at your building at that time. And that's an agreement I have with him. But he also doesn't buy $1 worth of rodents. He buys $50 to $80 worth of rodents. And, he's like, hey, I'll be off work at this time and that. And I'm like, great, I'm going to go down and check the building then at that time, because then I'm doing what I have to do. Plus I'm meeting him, So I do make accommodations if I need to. But
that takes a little bit of relationship building, time, trust, reliability. Like I have certain customers, they say that, like, I know for sure tomorrow morning at noon, I'm going to have a customer. He comes every Wednesday. It's great. Actually, I need to text him. I have a dentist appointment in the morning. I have to be like, look, I think I'll be done and out in that time, but maybe push it back a half hour. And that's dependable both ways. And I always have his order. That's no problem. But I had somebody today said, oh, hey, can you be there at 10? I'll meet you at 10. Yeah, I'll be there. That's when I'm working anyway. Never showed, never heard, never nothing, and you just have to, and I get it. That's any industry. People cancel their reservations, blah, blah, blah. That's any industry. But anytime there's a limitation, it's because I want to provide the best service I can, not because I don't want to provide the service.
Yeah. Try to do what we can, right? And
I learned it in restaurants. There's always somebody that says, well, you got these ingredients, why don't you just make it? I'm like, well, my staff isn't trained to make it. I can't promise it's going to taste the same way the next time because we don't have a spec and a recipe for it. I'll try and take care of you, but we're not really equipped to do it that way, kind of deal. And it's not because I don't want to do it. It's because if you expect excellence from me, I want to make sure that I give you the excellence. And that doesn't just happen because I snap my fingers. That happens because all these different things work well together.
Right. Yep. Yeah. And I guess to answer the margin question, I'm sorry, I kind of spaced off on that. I really haven't figured it out with the expansion, and I have taken on additional labor expense to be able to keep doing my job and stuff like that. And then so I've found somebody that can run the building for me right now, which is a huge help. Got a delivery driver now. That's why I'm here talking to you on a Tuesday night. As you know,
right. I do it. Shout out to the delivery driver.
Yeah,
he delivered Chris to the show is what he delivered tonight.
Yep. So, all that it comes into play. And again, we're not someday maybe the rodent. I just want it to pay for itself. and what I get out of it. Well, what do you get out of it for your investment? Because you got to look at that. If you're in business, people, ask yourself, what are you getting out of it? You got to get something out of it, because a person that's going to be you might think your employer that you work for is hard on you. You're harder on yourself when you're working for yourself. People don't realize like that getting off the couch at 9:00 at night. Would you get off the couch for another employer? No, but you did it because you're the employer. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, and I wrestle with that. There's, hey, we texted to each other. Hey, I might have to drink some tea. Okay, I feel I'm exhausted too. Doesn't matter. The show's going to go on because this is our businesses here.
Right. So the margin, if I can feed my snakes for free, and I guess what I mean free is my time and my wife's time down there, our sweat equity, I guess is what you'd want to call it. As long as that's paying to feed my snakes, and then that's what I want the business to do. Now, someday, do I want to be the next level? Yes. What is the next level for you, Chris? Well, the next level is probably starting to ship some frozen. I've been toying around with that for years, as you've known. I shipped to one person down in Texas. She's, kind of being my guinea pig, and everything's been great. The orders have been great, so I'm getting a little more confident in it. Got the shipping account set up and all that for dry ice and stuff like that. So I'm getting there slowly.
Did I hear you say one time that you might have met that customer through a little podcast appearance?
I did through this podcast. We were talking last time. So what was that, a year ago?
Year and a half, I believe it was. I believe it was August of 24 when I looked it up. Yeah, so about a year and a half. And I actually don't say that as if I'm owed something. I don't. Somebody said something. No. But somebody said something one time that was like, sponsors are basically just putting a tip in your jar, and I'm like, absolutely not. I want my goal to be to return somebody's investment. If I need charity, I'll just ask for I'll let you know. Otherwise, I want to work for these advertisers. And so when you told me that, I was like, there is value. And you don't advertise with me. I'm not, you're not, you're not paying. There's no pay to play as far as guests go. But I was like, this stuff does have reach and it does have value. And I have worked hard for it and I'm proud of that. But I was so happy to hear that for you too. I was like, excellent, man. You're not just coming and, giving everything as far as knowledge. You got a little return on that, man.
It was great. Yeah, it was awesome. And she's like, and I told her straight up, I said, hey, I haven't shipped rodents before, but if you would like to be my guinea pig, by all means, I'm happy to learn. And so it's been working great for her. And that's why I told you too, it's like, hey, I just wanted to let you know I did pick up, something out of that. And that's why I answer your calls, Adam.
Well, it's hugely fulfilling, and I won't get into the specifics of it, both for the sake of both of our privacy, but it's an understatement to say that you and I have done good business together. We've done a lot of business, and it's been I'm very thankful for that. And that came from this show and just having a place where the potential to interact could foster itself, and it has. And I'm thankful for that. So I appreciate that, Chris.
And to throw that out to the reptile community as a whole. My wife and I were just talking, Thanksgiving was just here, right?
Yep.
And, maybe you guys think, oh, that's kind of corny, but sometimes we sit down and we say, what are we thankful for? And Jerry, she mentioned, she's like, the reptile industry, we have met some great people in the reptile industry. And, you talk to people outside the reptile industry, they think we're all, and I've got tattoos, so don't take it the wrong way, but they probably think, oh, they're tattooed from neck to feet and the big earrings and all that. And I've got tattoos. She's got tattoos too, but the perception of the person that they see, it is not the perception of that, the way they act. I mean, I know great people with tattoos all over them, so I don't want to take that out of context. I hope nobody takes that out of context, but they're thinking that
the stereotype.
Like the stereotype is the rough and all that. But man, there's a lot of people on here right now that both of you and I know, that are great people through the reptile industry, and the reptile industry helps each other, and it's just amazing.
It really is, and it's been well, like you say, even just people in the audience. But I love the mindset that everybody's an expert at something else. Like people come to me about logistics or hospitality, or they see processes or systems or whatever. And anyway, I could just think of tons of different ways that has permeated through my experience, and it just comes up. So. Anyhow, yeah, I'm with you on the giving thanks. Don't ever feel like that's cheesy. I actually set aside a little bit of time. It might only be 10 seconds, but I do make myself each day like so people have prayers. I may have my own prayers, but I also have the give a little bit of thanks section as well. And that's I think it's vitally important for myself. Anyhow. One question on the rodents, and we'll wrap this up because I am going downhill fast.
Yeah,
I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to take some medicine, because tomorrow's my rodent day. So as bad as I'm feeling now, I'm going to feel worse tomorrow.
And there you go. Now, if you had a regular job, you'd call in sick, right?
That's right, man. Yeah. It's a cold day. I'm cuddled up. I sound like crap. I'm good. No. I got to go take care of the rodent customers and the rodents. But have you, or could you imagine? Have you ever produced too many that you didn't have anything to do with? I mean, you're in a 5,000 square foot facility, 1,000 of female Norwegians and some 650 ASFs. Have you overproduced for your market ever?
I did, as we grew, right? You've got to produce the rodent if you needed to, before you went and found the customer, or if you needed.
Correct.
So, yeah, I said word of mouth is how we've grown, and it pretty much has been. But at one time, yes, that happened. We had filled, 7 deep freezes. But all it did was take me 2 phone calls to some people I know.
So the answer is no. You cleared up.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I probably gave it a little discount, but I haven't had to do that for like 3 years. But at one time, I did call up a guy, and I'm like, hey, I've got, 1,000 large, 1,000 mediums in the freezer. I'll make you a killer deal. And he's like, let me make some phone calls. And he called me back a couple hours later, and he's like, all right, I'll buy them all. I'm going to send them to 3 people I know. I'm like, all right, you come get them.
Yeah.
And, cash in hand, and my freezers were empty again. But now I can't keep a frozen Norway right now in stock, which is a great problem to have.
Right.
It's a problem, though. It is, because I just talked to you like I'm on the beginning of maybe shipping some frozen, but right now I'm having an issue of keeping up with the live demand, which is what I want, though. It's what I want.
I was going to say that makes it, you don't have to worry about the logistics of the boxes, the dry ice. One of the neat things about, and I'm going to wrap up here pretty quick, Chris, but one of the neat things to me about rodents, and when I say neat, I might be like a glutton for punishment. Rodent math and rodent business math and logistics is hard. Like, I have yet to quite figure out, okay, I have this many, I can rely on them to produce this many, I use this many, I can take this many customers over this period of time. It seems like we should be able to code all of that. And I've yet to crack that code, and I've yet to meet another breeder who's like, oh yeah, I got it nailed down. This is what you got to do. It's like, no, just produce them and try and juggle your customers and keep people as happy as you can, and keep producing is what I've both heard and experience. But shipping adds a layer on top of that. And like, there's some things I don't know much about, and I don't know too much about dry ice, but I know that to buy it at a reasonable cost, the quantity you have to buy is a massive amount, to where you have to have equipment just to store the dry ice so you could buy it at a reasonable price, which is a whole other layer of logistics and figuring math out.
Yep. And I'm figuring all that out, and we'll see. But yeah, is there a magic number of, hey, produce this many rats? And no, because especially when you're dealing with as many customers as I am, one week somebody's gonna not buy, or a couple of them not buy.
Right.
And then you've got too many, and then one week you'll have where everybody wants a rodent, and you're like, and especially during hatchling season, and you've got, and that's what I did. I went after the big snake breeders. So one person wants 50 hopper, the next person wants 80 hopper mice, and then you're like, oh crap, I'm out of hopper mice, and I've only helped 2 customers.
And that means that you're going to be out of future mediums and larges because those hoppers aren't growing up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And I won't ask you to say it, but I will say it. For me, the very best customers are the ones that are there each week. And as long as they're consistent, I'll set their orders aside from them. They're taken care of. It's the people that pop up and just all of a sudden go, I need 4, but I haven't heard from you in a month and a half. Well, I don't know. I mean, I'll always have 4. But if you just pop up and I haven't heard from you in a month and a half and you want 40, I ain't got it for you. I'm sorry. I might have it. Call me, but I might have to tell you I don't have it. You know what I mean? Like, so that consistent order, those are gold, man. I love those customers. So, Chris, thank you so much. It's a pleasure. You're welcome back anytime. We don't have to wait a year and a half. And
yeah, I'm happy. I'm always enjoying being here.
We see each other enough out on the road. We should make time for dinner and a beverage or something like that sometime too. I would enjoy that.
Yeah, we could do that.
Perfect. Audience, thank you so much. Thanks for bearing with me. Sorry for the congestion. I'll get myself healed up and I'll sound better next week. But I did promise you a show, and here we are. Got lace balls on next week. We're going to have a plenty of fun, I promise, with lace next week. And in 2 weeks, Antoine at DPR Cold Blood. And the following week is December 23rd. I don't know. Do we need to do a Christmas episode? Maybe we do. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'll cook up. I'll cook up something fun. That one probably won't be that serious of an episode, but I will be here on those Tuesday nights. Thank you all so very much. Go check out Chris at Wide River Reptiles. Chris, I think you're everywhere under Wide River Reptiles, but Morph Market, Instagram, Facebook, get you covered on those.
Yep. That's that. And then the reptile business is the Reptile Bistro. So check that out. The Reptile Bistro is the rodent business.
The rodent business. I'm sorry. I wasn't familiar with that brand. Reptile Bistro, huh?
Yeah. Well, in Iowa, if just quick, I'll tell you why, if anybody wants to know the why. In Iowa, if you're going to sell more than 6 animals or $600 worth of animals, you have to have, they come in and inspect, and they need everything water sealed to have your pet license. So at the rodent facility, we sell no pets. We sell everything as feeders. So it's a separate business for that reason only. I still am vet inspected every year, but I don't have to go through the USDA inspection that I do for the ball pythons.
Wow. And I'm sorry. So you used an expression I'm not familiar with. Water sealed. What does that mean?
Yeah. So all my wood racks that are built, I would have to paint them. Oh. Yeah. So that's why we have a separate business for the rodents.
Man, the grass is never greener.
I mean, White River Reptiles, I'll answer. People message back and forth. They'll message the bistro for a snake and vice versa. Whatever works for you, I got you.
Right.
But man, we do have a separate business. Yep.
The grass is never greener. I remember in Florida where ball pythons are regulated by FWC. There was a big movement that, hey, these aren't wildlife. These are agriculture. Yeah. Welcome to the world of agriculture in Iowa, right? Yeah,
yes.
Man.
Yes.
Man, I tell you what, Minnesota might be known for a few things, but under the level of water, it is wide open here, man. Like, take care of yourself, be nice to other people, and they leave you alone here. The Department of Natural Resources, they say, look, I called them. They said, no, there's no regulations on that stuff. Just, take care of your neighbors. Don't freak them out. Don't give them reason to complain. And you don't hear from us, and everybody's cool, man.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, man.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. Send my best to Jerry, and I'll see you down the road before too long. You'll be in Des Moines when in January, maybe, you doing that show?
Yeah, I'm hoping she signed up. We've been watching the website, so I'll make sure we've got our tables.
Yeah, not to give Jason a hard time. I'm trying to write the man a check here. I need to be able to log in, you know?
Yep.
All right. Chris, take care. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much, man. I hope you feel better. I am going to sign off. Normally, I would say all this off screen in the green room, but I'm out of here tonight, man. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right. See you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.